What do you mean by Jameis Winston's not there yet?
He does. He's not. He doesn't have the consistency of the top. Like, I mean, what can we say are the top 10 quarterbacks? There's like the consistency of them, that they're in the games. They're not. Everybody's gonna have a bad game, but it seems like Jameis will have two good games, two
Hmm.
bad games, one good game, two bad games, three good games, two bad games. There's no consistency in that. I mean, he doesn't. He has just put it like this: when Fitzpatrick was in there, he was putting up them numbers because he was stretching the field with Jackson.
Hmm.
You look at the numbers compared to Jameis and Fitzpatrick; they're nowhere near. He has no targets towards Jackson. You got to throw a person like Jackson open too, and
Right.
I think he's missing those tangibles.
Right, right. I think when I look at his numbers, and I got his numbers pulled up right here, his rookie year, 4,000 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. The next year, 4,090 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 18. And then 2017, I guess he missed some time. He only had 3,500 throwing yards, 19 touchdowns, 11 picks, and then just last year where it was the back and forth between him and Fitzmagic or Fitztragic. 2,900 yards, 19 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't think these numbers are. I don't think they're terrible numbers per se. Maybe it's just the fact that maybe the Buccaneers, as an organization, and maybe as a defense, they don't. Their defense, at least this past year, was a terrible defense. But when you look at the other years, defensively, like they've had a couple of studs, but it just seemed like to them as a group, they just can't seem to put defensive performances together. Like if you give Jameis a top 10 defense with the numbers that he's put up, they could get to the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, what is up, Bridging the Gap crew? This is the show where cheaters always win. And today,
Yes.
we got our guy Trey Frazier from Barbershop Sports Podcast here. Salute. We got my boy Marty here on the show, Patriot Nation. And you know who it is. It always is. Coach B with the glimmering forehead. How are we doing today, Coach? That's terrific.
I'm here. I'm here, ready to get this on real quick. Have a little discussion. I'm here.
Okay, cool. So, Trey, go ahead, introduce yourself here, like under a minute, and just tell us what you got going on, what you're about.
Yeah, no doubt. Trey Frazier here in the house, co-host of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, live every Tuesday night from 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. www.barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. We also got some good stuff on the website. We got a blog site, also a video page where we upload videos from our shows. And then if you want to follow us, you can hit us up on the Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also, you can hit us up on the Facebook page and on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2.
Okay, awesome. And Martin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yep. Name's Martin. Big sports fan, specifically NFL, VA. Guess I'm just living life. That's all I gotta say.
Hold on. I'll encourage you. You're Boston. You grew up in Boston, correct?
Yeah. Patriots fan, Red Sox fan, Celtics fan, all that type shit.
Okay, cool. All right, Coach. What do we got on deck today?
All right, yeah, the meat of it, yeah, we're going to talk about them championship games, spend the most time on that, and we're going to see what people's thoughts are. Do we really think that the refs can control a game with a couple calls? Some thoughts on the Pro Bowl. Are we down with that or no? And the latest, we're going to go with the hot topic, is going to be Kareem Hunt and his future in the NFL.
Oh, all right. So I'm guessing that's the torch to you, Trey. Tell us a little bit about your blog post. Talk about Kareem Hunt in the NFL.
All right, so just to kind of give you guys just a backstory to this thing, last week, me and my partner, Maestro Styles, we did an IG Live video before we went on live. I discussed what I saw minutes before we did that video, it was kind of breaking news to me that the Chicago Bears had actually had a conversation with Kareem Hunt on I guess, a personal level. Coach Nagy talked to him. The quarterback Trubisky talked to him, and it was basically they was just seeing how he was doing, and if he's holding his head high and all that good stuff. Really, just a personal level, not so much football. So after they spoke to him, they had a press conference with the media, and one of the media members asked Nagy if Kareem Hunt was a possibility to be added to the roster. And they basically said that it's not out of the possibility that he's on the roster. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but they basically left the door open for a possible signing of Kareem Hunt. So after kind of soaking that in, me and Maestro, we did the video, and I said, hey, it's nice to hear that Kareem Hunt is actually, being being connected to possibly being on a roster for obviously football reasons. He was a top 5 running back for the incident of the released, I should say. He was top 5 in the season. Had a great rookie year last year, and when this video, let's be real about this, and let me just put it out there that I don't condone guys putting their hands on females. I don't condone any type of domestic violence, and this wasn't a domestic dispute, but I just don't condone anybody hitting anybody for that matter. And I thought that was an offense that could have possibly landed him in jail and would have ended his career. So just to get that out of the way, I don't condone any man putting his hands on a female or anybody for that matter. My point with the blog basically was to showcase the fact that the Chicago Bears thought that, hey, we can get this guy. And now, and let's be real, and I hate to bring Ray Rice into the situation, but I'm going to have to just to show my comparison here. Ray Rice, when he got caught hitting his fiance in the video, Ray Rice at that point in his career was going into his 7th season as a running back. He was coming off of a down year with the Ravens. His numbers went down. And the perception on Ray Rice was that he was on the downside of his career. Now, me as a Ravens fan, I didn't believe that, but there were many people around football and the NFL and people in the media kept saying, "Hey, this guy's washed up. It's not worth even taking a chance on signing a guy." So you have Kareem Hunt come in, and like I said, he balls out his rookie year. He balls out the first half of this year until the video gets released, and then the Chiefs have to cut him for PR reasons and for him to deal with the situation away from football. I thought, and me and Maestro, we had this debate about this when it first happened. I thought that he was going to, at some point, come back in the NFL because he's only 23 years old. He is a top 5 running back. He's put up the numbers that a running back's supposed to put up. Yeah. So I took that stand. Maestro took the stand that, video was everything. And I thought that held true also, being,
But at this point, do you think at this point he deserves, like, if they said, like, being in the camp, like, we're bringing him in, do you think he deserves at this point is what I was probably unclear on. Like, at this particular point, do you think he should sit out for a while? Is there some kind, because I don't think there's going to be any charges against this at all.
Yeah,
I really don't.
And that's the thing, right? So let's remember, this incident happened back in February of 2018. So the Kansas City Chiefs knew about this already, months before the video came out.
NFL did too.
Yeah, Right.
They
Even
just
though he
didn't
tried
have
to
the
lie
video.
about
The
it.
video came out. They believe that the NFL is going to try to keep all that quiet, but once a video comes out or it's
Yep.
something that they can't contain, because
Yep.
they're always putting out fires from the team until the team's forced to go to the NFL, and then the NFL is going to, if they can keep it under wraps, they're going to keep it under wraps because they don't want to stain their shirt. So I think everybody knew in place, but I guess he went in there and lied to the NFL and the Chiefs and didn't tell them the extent of it. And then the tape came out, so they had no choice but to make that. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Now, if you're gonna ask me, should Kareem Hunt deserve punishment? Absolutely. He should deserve any type of punishment, any kind of smoke that comes his way. He's deserving of that.
Right.
Law enforcement had the opportunity to do that. They didn't. The young female had the opportunity to take this to court. She didn't do that. I don't know if
She
she
got
got
a
paid off.
bag. She got a bag that night.
You think she got a bag?
Oh,
She
I
got a
believe it.
bag
I
that
would have
night.
to because
Okay.
I mean that's the only way that she could have got or he could have gotten away with it at this point without the penalties and repercussions that he could have received.
Right.
I
right.
guarantee she knew who it was. She knew from rip, who it was, and I guarantee whatever it was over something petty. And
Yep.
the people around him, once they caught him in the situation and got it straight, and then other people around with her, they came up with the street way of doing stuff like give me a bag and this will, you know what I mean? I don't know if they knew that. You got to know there's cameras everywhere nowadays. I don't go outside without my in my head thinking somebody's gonna film me. However I act right now, it's gonna end up on the internet. So I don't know if there was alcohol involved, was he high, whatever, you know what I mean? So, but
Right.
the whole
Right.
so I guarantee you, somebody either he took a chain off and gave it to her, he went and sent somebody to go get a bag or whatever, and then somehow that tape got out.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it took that long though. You think if you have that, maybe they had it for a while and they were trying to get a bag out of him,
Right.
and they couldn't get what they wanted, so they were like, you know what, throw it out, and that happens.
Yeah.
Or maybe somebody who works for TMZ is a closet Patriots fan and just decided, you know what?
What do you guys
Let's
say
not-
about that, Martin? What do you guys say about that?
What, yeah, what's up with your team, man? I think there's some Patriot fans working at TMZ, man.
Got some
Are they
Pats
over
fans
there?
at TMZ.
What was that? I'm sorry. I didn't quite hear.
You got Pats fans
don't
working
you-
at TMZ.
Nah. I was
What, hiding
joking and
videos?
saying that. Yeah, I was joking and saying that there was somebody at TMZ working for them who's a Patriots fan and decided, let me put out this
Let me
Kareem
leak the
Hunt
tape.
video so that we could damage the Chiefs much further, so
Yeah.
that when we see them in the playoffs, we could get them.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. My take on that Kareem Hunt thing, it's one of those deals. He's a young player. He's got so much potential, and they've made. I mean, and by technicality, they've pretty much made everything go away to the point where I think he could play a snap in the league. I mean, consciously as a team, you're going to feel the repercussions of that. I feel. I mean, if you're the Bears, bring him in. I mean, sure, people are going to be like, yeah, you're winning games, or yeah, you got a great running back. And who knows? Maybe Kareem comes back and he's not as good, but you're going to feel those repercussions.
No, he's way too young to fall off.
Yeah.
The repercussions are going to be, you're going to have protesters outside of Soldier Field 24/7.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's going to be disruptive. You're going to lose. They're not going to take that chance right now. My take on it is what you put in that article and you just repeated again was Coach Nagy. He coached him. He knows this man. He
Yep.
probably called him and he said, hey, what's going on? Is everything good? What's the situation? Now, we
Right.
all know in the back of his head also they had that conversation too.
Yep.
What are they telling you? Like, well, how far is it going to go? Are you good? Like, what are you looking at? Because I'm sure that the NFL gave him let us figure this out. You definitely, if they bring him in next year, it's too soon. It's too soon.
Just real quick, Vince Wright asked Trey, "What is up?"
Oh yeah, that's my homie Vince Wright. He also does a podcast. Also, his podcast is called Sports Done Right. with Vince Wright. And if you guys are familiar with Spreaker.com, X Squad affiliates, X Squad Radio, that's where you can find his show at. He does his show usually live after we do our show on Tuesdays, and he's live from Minneapolis. So
Minneapolis,
cool.
your Vikings.
Yeah,
Vikings
send us the link to that afterward. And also,
definitely. Hey Vince, I see him in the chat too. Hey Vince, put out your information and all that, man. Definitely.
So we could check it out, promote it, vibe, mash it up.
But Coach B, I got a question for you. I mean, we're talking Kareem Hunt here.
Right.
Don't you think that if the Bears didn't want smoke with Kareem Hunt, they would have said so in that press conference? Don't you think that they would have just killed all the noise about whatever the media thought?
Well, I think Coach Nagy, he's one of those, like, they're all like, you don't get a lot from Andy Reid, so he's definitely under that tree, and he's leaving the options open.
Yep.
He's saying he's not going to go out there, jump off, and say, no, we can't have that, because we don't even know what the punishment's going to be from the NFL. I'm sure if they put some kind of limit on it and they didn't feel it was, the Bears organization felt, but they had to talk about it. They had a meeting.
Yep.
Everybody sat down in a room, and coach said, I know this kid. He's a good kid, and he sold them, but they're just not going to jump out and say it all the way. They're going to wait to see what it plays out. Me personally would just say, hey, kid, you need to sit down for a while. You got to go kiss some babies. You got to go give some talks. You got to sit that year out at least, and put some groundwork in so the people can allow you to come back, show that your forgiveness. And I don't think that's enough time from this time until camp starts to even get a fair, because once camp starts, you're not going to have time to do none of that stuff. So it's just not enough time for him to show any kind of remorse to the people. And I think they'll crucify the Bears for that. I think they'll crucify him.
Now, I disagree with the fact that there's not enough time. And this is why I specifically titled that blog that if they wanted to get him, that they need to go get him like right now. Not now, but right now. And here's why I say that. You just had two great games last night, for the right to go to the Super Bowl. You got NFL honors coming up in a couple weeks. You got the Hall of Fame finalists going to be announced. And you got arguably, if not the best, greatest sporting event taking place, which is the Super Bowl. This is the NFL's busiest time of the year. Or if I'm incorrect about that, somebody let me know. But to me, this is the NFL's busiest time.
Well, it ain't gonna be no busier for not collectively as every team, because everybody's in camp. You got practice, you got obligations to the team in the NFL during your seasons where you got to go out in the public, and all the relationships where you got to volunteer. The time, like, this is the time. Once the playoffs started, you're not in. Your free time starts then. Like, he should be on doing something right now.
Well, he's doing per NFL Network. He's doing anger management. He's doing, I guess, some kind of alcohol rehab or whatever. He's doing those things. But again, if you like, I'll give you an example. What's everybody talking about today in terms of those two games last night? They're talking about the refs blowing that call against the Saints.
And they're talking about
they're just talking about refs.
The Patriots.
They're just talking about refs in general.
Edelman.
I mean,
right, they're talking about the bad call against the Saints, and they're talking about the BS roughing a passer call against Chris Jones. That's basically what's been dominating this sports talk this entire day. If the Bears had signed Kareem Hunt, had the Bears signed Kareem Hunt like yesterday or today, you think that's gonna get pop over what happened in these games yesterday? I'm not.
Oh
so
no,
sure.
yeah, that's going from rip. That's going from rip. The whole nation. It's not going to just be the NFL Network and Chris and Nick in the morning and Shannon and Skip talking about it. It's going to be on Good Morning America with a probably like a 5-minute Joni on it instead of just a quick hit that they would do with the NFL. It would surpass the NFL's with the refs and all that. Kareem Hunt, if they signed him like yesterday, it would surpass that.
Yeah, I agree
because
with that, Vince.
they're looking for the mess. That's today's society. They're looking for the mess, and that's just normal stuff. The Patriots going to the Super Bowl and questionable calls is normal.
Yeah, I mean, really,
it's just normal.
Hey, hold on. We got the Patriots fan here.
Nobody gives a
let
shit
him
about
speak
that.
on it. Let him speak on that. Let him defend himself.
Speak up. Well,
nobody cares about that stuff. Nobody cares about Chris Jones' phantom call, whatever the hell that
the
was.
phantom hand in his face that was the pass interference, or roughing the passer.
They're still on the stuff they've been talking about 10 years ago about how the Patriots, they're they pay the refs or whatever they talk about. They don't care about a call. They're just sticking to the same narrative they've been having for 10, 15 years.
Oh, it's always going to be a cheat for the Patriots. You got to look at it like this. Like I've said to people, I had an argument with it before. They could call, like you say what you want. They called 3 calls against one player in the fourth quarter, and one of them was very questionable. They were right calls, but if they were trying to if, and this is my thing, like, do we believe that the refs, that's the thing of it, can control the game with some calls? Do we believe that could happen?
It depends on what time of the game. It depends.
That's what I was going to say.
Like yesterday, like the Saints, as bad of a call as that was, and it definitely kept the Saints from actually running the clock down, forcing the Rams to use that final timeout, get it down to about 40, 30 seconds, kick the field goal. You go up by 3 points, and you leave the Rams.
No, it wasn't that. They
left.
shouldn't have been. It was the coach's fault. I coached for years.
Well,
the coach chose to throw the football instead of running it. They shouldn't have been throwing the football. They could have got that clock down to 40, wasted those timeouts, gave them the ball back, and said, here, you got to make it 40 yards, 40, 50 yards, and try to tie the game up. It was a coaching decision that got it into there. Because as a coach, you always tell your players, don't worry about the refs. The refs should not have any kind of control of the game. If you do what we're telling you to do and you execute, there's not going to be no chance for them to blow it on the last-minute call.
You think the play was poorly executed?
The what?
The play
the pass?
Yeah.
No, the call, the beginning of the drive. You got it 1st and 10 at the 13 with 1:57 left. They got 2 timeouts. They should have ran the football. And let the clock run. Let them waste them timeouts, kick the field goal, and put it on your defensive back. What they were trying to do, they played right into the Rams' hands. I'm over there. If I was on the Rams, Coach McVay was like, yo, you throwing the ball? That's what I want you to do. And what happened? He incompleted the pass. And then he had to throw, in which they missed the interference call. It's all said. It's all good and dandy, but they should have never been throwing the ball in the first place.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not all good and dandy for the Saints. And if I was going to say my point of like what I think if that decides a game, I agree with Coach though that if you're a good football team, you shouldn't be in a position where a ref call is going to be the difference between the win and the loss. That's just the way you want to be.
Past 2 years.
What's that?
I mean, last year, Marcus Williams fell over trying to tackle Stephon Diggs on that last play, and then. Don't
even want to bring that up. Saints fans might start crying. That's gonna hurt worse than the pass interference call.
It's horrible
probably hurt
too.
Equally, but
you can't blame it. Can't blame nothing on nobody on that. That was just horrible defense.
That was all him. That was all him. But I'm saying though is like me personally, like that is the way it is. Like if you're in a situation where a call is gonna blow the game, then you know what I mean. It wasn't a winnable game. But at the same time, I'm still pissed because of the fact that it really was that call. I mean, that call basically would have finished the game off. I mean, I'm not saying it did, and they could have missed the field goal if they had to settle for a field goal. They might not have gotten a touchdown, but I'm saying that it definitely would have pretty much sealed it up. And then, I mean, I would say 80% chance that game's won had they called that pass interference call, guaranteed.
Oh, the game would have been. They would have started running the ball and probably punched it in. And whatever, and gave it back, but it still would have been. I think they would have had a lot more time on the clock and probably had 1 timeout. Yeah, they would have probably had 1:30 in a timeout, and with a pretty good offense that could get it done at late in the game.
Yeah, well, they would have got that call, but they could have ran some clock off too, so it might not have been that exact time. I want Martin's
Well, they
take.
had timeouts, bro. You got to understand. If they had first and goal, it would have been at like the 1 yard line. They're not going to waste no time. They're going to punch it in when they can.
That pass was on the goal line. That one that they threw.
It's pass interference, bro. It would have been if you're inside.
Spot of the ball, right?
It would be halfway to the goal if they're inside the 5. It wouldn't be at the spot. The spot of the foul. I don't know. Well, let me think about that for a minute. I don't think that would have been. I think that would have put them at the goal line.
I mean, usually pass interference calls isn't it the spot of the foul? So like wherever the ball was at, and he screwed it up.
Yeah,
they put it there, right?
It would have been at like the 4 or 5 yard line.
Yeah,
it would have been two. There was 2 different calls though. It depended what they call. It was interference and it was helmet to helmet. They laid off the helmet to helmet thing. If they would have called the helmet to helmet, it would have been first at the inside the 1, first and goal inside the 1. If the interference, I think they probably would have spotted it like where it was at, but they're not going to waste no time at that particular point. Yeah, I don't see. Then they would have ran it, but at that point, I think they're just going to like pop it in quick. They would have wasted a timeout, and then I don't see them trying to make a big goal line stance and waste the clock and try to keep that timeout. Yeah. One of them situations that very rarely happens, but you know, as a coach, I've done it where I let somebody score to preserve the clock and the timeout. If I didn't, they would have ate that clock. So I'm thinking I had confidence in my offense. I'd rather go out like that and then stay at the goal line, waste all my time and my timeouts, and then they punch it in anyways. Yeah. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble. It's a gamble, and I just think Sean Payton gambled wrong. I think he gambled wrong, and I think he knows it.
Yeah. Martin.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely got to know that. And here's the other thing. They had opportunities to win this game. You still go up 3 points, even after the bad call, and it was an atrocious call, and everybody and their mama knows it. Everybody that watched TV in the stadium knows that was a bad call. But you still went up 3 points anyway, and you could have played defense toward the end of the 4th quarter. Instead, you give up a field goal. You go to overtime, and you win the coin toss. You win the coin toss.
Yeah, that is true.
And Drew Brees in that situation, I'm putting my money on 100% all the time in that situation. And he just got pressure up the middle. He throws the interception, and that's all she wrote.
Yep. I said when I saw it, I was like, as soon as I saw the pick, I was like, that's it. That's dagger. Called it right there. I said, they're going to put that
That's how
away.
it goes.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, you go over to the Patriots. Now, they had to call that with that Edelman thing. Mm-hmm. They had to reverse that call because I looked at all those angles, and they're saying it might have brushed his thumb. Mm-hmm. There was clearly every angle they showed, he didn't touch that ball at all. He didn't touch it at all. I don't know how he didn't touch it, but the angle showed. It showed that it didn't touch him at all. So they had to overturn that. But what I think the Patriots are just like a victim. They said, I can't stand the Patriots, but I respect them because they always put themselves in position. Look, on paper, the Chiefs should have blew them right out of Arrowhead on paper. But that's not how it goes. The system down there is so well prepared that if you mess up one time, they're going to take advantage of it. And then them going down there and the refs, just people saying the refs, and they always come up with this. It's America's most hated team. I get it because they're winning.
Yeah,
they're winning.
That's what I was going to say. And you know what's funny is on my feed, you'll see a lot of people saying, like the people are crying about Tom Brady, and then in the comments, you'll read this thing that says, well, beat them. Someone beat them. Someone beat the Patriots,
Somebody
right?
Beat them.
And I just
you gotta whoop their ass. You can't play. You gotta play well-rounded football to beat them.
Yeah.
You can't play half-ass football.
My team has done it a couple times. It's just that I wish my front office would get their act together so that we can continue to try to go at the Patriots and continue to beat them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
there's
good too.
different types of football. Go ahead, Dev. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, like I said, and I think it's a lot of that hard-nosed football kind of stuff too, like the Baltimore plays. That I think that's kind of like how you have to be with them. Like the Eagles, they're another team that's good at playing the Patriots. They're that hard-nosed kind of like, I mean, they're out to get you, and I feel like a lot of times when teams play them, they are either like, I don't want to say they're intimidated, but they just don't stand up to the Patriots sometimes. And the Patriots, man, they just bully around. But I tell you what, Tom Brady, I mean, you gotta, like Coach said, you gotta blow their doors in. And I'm gonna hand it off to Martin here in a second because we're talking about the Patriots now, and I see him getting antsy down there. But I'm just saying that, like, you got to blow their doors in. I mean, you can't give them any opportunity. None. The whole game, you can't give them an opportunity. I mean, you saw what they did to Atlanta in that Super Bowl. You can't give them nothing, not even a chance. And I mean, the Chiefs played good game, for all that it's worth. I gotta say, I mean, I was sitting there entertained. I'm glad we got 2 overtime games, honestly. But I mean, the Pats just, it's an adjustment game, and they were making adjustments. The teams were making adjustments, and I think that the Pats just adjusted better, and they've been there before too. Which I gotta say this one last thing. Patty Mahomes, whenever we got to like near the end of the fourth quarter to the overtimes area, he didn't look ready. Mm-hmm. Like I was seeing him on the bench, he just looked like he was kind of nervous and stuff. So
of course, everybody's Brady was
right.
nervous.
But I mean, like he didn't look like he was ready to go out in that field and win the game and put it down if he had to. That's what I'm saying.
When? At what point?
It was like right towards the end of the fourth quarter, right as overtime started. You'd see him on the bench, and like I said, when it panned to him, he was kind of like sitting there. Hold on, I'll try my best to do his face for the live chat.
He brought him down and kicked the field goal with 39 seconds.
Right, but I'm saying he still didn't look like he was in overtime. He did not look like it. I'm just saying. That's it. That's me. That's my opinion. That's what I read. Take that with what you will, Martin.
I'm telling you what I will. That's bullshit.
Right, and I'm telling you what I will, Martin.
He was ready.
Martin.
He was ready all day. He was ready to play football. He surprised me. That's the thing that I was saying the whole time. Is he ready for that big time? And he showed me he was ready yesterday. He showed me. You were down 14. You came back in a half. He's a young kid, of course. He's been around this. He had some butterflies, but he went out there and performed.
Maybe he was just sitting there a little upset, looking depressed because he knew Brady had the ball, and that's just a wrap if you give Brady the ball in OT. Martin.
In my opinion, there's no other quarterback in the league. I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes that would be able to score that many points that fast against the Patriots. There's no other quarterback, in my opinion, this year.
Yep, I could agree with that.
Just because just some of the throws he made were unbelievable. I mean, I remember in the fourth quarter, he was just picking apart, hitting every window there was. But I do have to blame. In terms of that game, I do have to blame the Kansas City Chiefs organization because I don't think they went out and invested enough assets in their defense. Mainly because in the first game in the regular season, week 6, the Patriots just ran it down their goddamn throat over and over and over and over and over again out of the same formation, the same exact formation. And in the first play of the game, what do? They come out in the same formation on Sunday, and 7-yard gain, 8-yard gain, 9-yard gain from Sonny Michel. And then they did adjust later in the game.
Yep.
But they didn't invest enough assets in their front seven. I know Chris Jones got hurt, but they didn't. Teams don't invest enough assets in their defense as much as they're supposed to, in my opinion. And smart teams like the Patriots and Rams, and they'll figure it out. They know your weaknesses, just like what the Patriots did 2 weeks ago against the Chargers. The Chargers are small. They're really small. They're weak up front, especially in the middle.
They can pass rush. That's what everybody invested in. They got gashed, but they can't stop a run.
50 yards. Yeah. And the Patriots got big guys up front. They got Shaq Mason, Andrews, and Thuney. Those are Pro Bowl caliber players. That's all I got to say about that, about the Chiefs side.
What I seen was interesting, though. You're right about the running attack. What they did, though, that was in the second half that they always do this. They find a way to do this. The whole time, there's somebody sitting back saying, "Okay, I found out what they're doing, their weaknesses." They ran Michelle and James White all that half in the beginning of the third. You never saw him again. Who'd you see? Rex Burkhead. What'd he do? He didn't make big plays. He made the right plays he had to make. And that is all being prepared. That was the coaching over there communicating, telling, I think they went to the person. They go to the person that can get the job done and what the weakness is. That's who they go with. Because if you look throughout their whole history, they don't stick with, since maybe back like with Corey Dillon, they don't stick with one back. 1 week it'll be James White. 1 week it'll be Michelle. Burkhead got healthy. He's back in. Now they found a weakest during that game. It's all adjusting. If you can't adjust on the fly, you'll never beat the Patriots. You clock for them, you'll never be able to beat them because there's somebody sitting there that's saying, okay, it's right in our hands. It's in our hands. We're going to do this. They're looking at it. They're communicating with all the coaches, and they got that system so well packed that you could grab a guy off the street and throw him in there. He's going to make a play.
Yeah, the guy from Aldi's down the road, he's coming in the play.
He's gonna make a play. Period. They're
I mean,
just
I think
well
it would take
prepared.
him a few years, but
Yeah, hey guys, I can't
he
front though. I can't front though. We got to start giving Julian Edelman a little bit of credit here. Like we always say this about the Patriots is that they have all these interchangeable parts, but Julian Edelman has been there almost a decade now, right?
Yes, it's 11th.
Yeah. He's basically a Patriot lifer, and he's been coming up with some huge clutch catches for this team. Like yesterday, he's going over the middle so many times. I'm sitting back. I'm like, yo, if I'm a middle linebacker or safety,
I'm taking his face off.
Yeah, I gotta punch this dude over the middle because he's gonna keep eating us. And if
he
I gotta
got
get
hit,
a penalty,
he ate those. He ate some hits yesterday.
I'm talking about you gotta level him. I'm talking you gotta have him see stars.
Yeah.
And if I'm one of those guys, I gotta be like, look, if I'm gonna take a penalty, so be it. I gotta let this dude know that you're just not gonna come over the middle all day. You're just not gonna do that. I'm gonna put some fear in you, even if I gotta take a couple penalties just to prove it.
Right.
And it didn't do nothing. They didn't do anything. And I think the league's got to do something about that, man. I mean, I know they're trying to keep the players' safety and all that, but man,
yeah, they kind of laid off of that though because actually they did pop Edelman after that interception.
Uh-huh.
And he was laying on the ground with Brady. It went off Edelman's fingertips, and they got that interception. Dude came and just popped him right in his helmet to helmet, right in his face, and his head hit off the ground. I thought he was going to be out for a while, but he got up. He's a tough dude. Smallest dude on the field, went out there and got the job done, made the big catches. He had 5 catches yesterday, that extended drives. So it all just goes back to like one of those things. It goes back to like when I was always coaching, I never had the talented team. We won chips. We won many chips. People were stacking their teams. I'm just like, give me some kids. I'm going to develop them and make them play. It's if you get the right people around them that and they start doing the techniques, like I can guarantee you, like I'll use my Steelers, for example. We always have camp injuries because they like the live hit. The Patriots don't live hit. They don't do that unless they're playing sevens with another, or they have a scrimmage with another team. They don't do all that stuff. They work on technique. They spend all their time wisely on technique and communicating. That's why they're in the place of going to 8 straight AFC championships. This is their 9th Super Bowl together with Brady and Belichick. It's just what it is. They're just well prepared. They're just well prepared, and no other team out there, you can get on them. Brady, or you might have a bad game. You might have figured some stuff out because they lose. The Giants had their number. They lost a couple lucky plays. That type of stuff happens, but it just is what it is. They're just well prepared. So
yeah, and and I'll say this, like I said it on on Twitter. It's just not just another potential championship for the Patriots, but it's another championship for the city of Boston, man. I hate Boston, man. I just can't stand it.
Celtics, they all got shit. They all got hardware hanging in the rafters.
Yeah, the Red Sox just won a few months ago.
And the Red Sox. I'm sorry, I forgot the Red Sox. Yeah, they're a championship town. That's city. I mean, championship city.
I hate that place.
And
man.
they beat LA.
I hate that place.
And they beat LA.
Yeah,
Oh boy, now we
yeah,
start
yeah,
out.
yeah. Go figure. Go figure. LA and Boston in the World Series just a few months ago. Now you got LA and Boston in the Super Bowl, and everybody's talking about Lakers Celtics. Maybe not this season, but next season, 2020. Look out.
Oh my God, yeah.
Uh,
It almost feels like it's like drawn up, or maybe like it's
Celtics.
rigged or something. So I guess I got to direct the conversation towards this. What do we think about all these Tom Brady, in cahoots with the
Oh,
refs kind of
God.
things? I've been seeing videos all day, right, about
Yeah.
like a ref tapping Tom Brady on the ass, and then we had
Oh,
I saw
God.
one where they showed a voiceover where it
Dude.
said what they made it try to say was, Tom Brady, I got your back. Tom Brady, I got your back. And then he said,
Right.
you have your timeout. But what he was saying was, hey, I got you. You have your timeout back. Right? But people were trying to change it to make it say something it wasn't saying. Because it was that play where, I think, what was it? Was it an offside call or something, Martin? Do you remember? And then the ref came up and talked to Brady and told him that they had
This
the
is
timeout
what
back.
video does to everybody. Because, listen,
Trolling.
the majority of NFL officials are what? Like, been there for 15 years. Guess how long Tom Brady's been playing football? For like 20. So he has great relationships with the officials, believe it or not, because he's a kind guy. Like, he goes up to them before the game, has a conversation with them. Oh yeah, how's your kids? How's your wife? Blah blah blah. Like, this isn't new stuff that he's doing. Like, he's not slipping a 20 in their fucking. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It would
you know,
take
I
more than
seen it.
20. It's got to be a bag. You send a bag to my house with
Yeah.
15.
But you get my point. Like,
Thousand
Tom
something.
Brady's an old man. Like, he's been there for a while.
He's an old man. Well, I'll tell you
But
what.
it was questionable. There was all kinds of questionable ref plays. It was on both sides.
Yeah,
Just
both
like
sides,
when
yep.
to go like they wanted to give Mahomes some time. He at the end when before they kicked the field goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
They went over. The refs went over to the shield and they pretended like they were checking the clock. And Mahomes went over to the sideline and sat and was talking to him. They were showing him something. So he got the time to get what they wanted done, and they came back and said, "Oh yeah, the clock's right." Those are questionable things. They don't go and say, "Okay, we're gonna stop everything to go check the clock at this time." They don't do
Right.
stuff like that. That just
Right.
looked crazy. It looked crazy at that point. I think they wanted that game to be extended. They got like I was telling these guys earlier. Those ref has earpieces in. I guarantee you that they don't know every call at that drop of a hat. They have to go and get some information from New York with the technology they have. So they're trying not to miss every call. And I just think that there's so much light and so many cameras that if you can get one ref, maybe they did catch a ref with a gambling problem. And they're like,
yeah,
yo,
right. The one guy
get,
who's been selling all of his.
if there's a call and you can get it, give us that call. If you don't,
Right.
we're outing you. We're telling you why everything. It happens. It happens. But I just think there's too many moving parts to fix a football game. Way too many moving parts.
I agree with that totally.
Hey guys, I gotta I'm probably gonna have to cut it short right here. I'll let you guys continue and do the show, but I just want to kind of get back into the Kareem Hunt thing just to kind of explain the rest of the blog that I put together and just kind of because I know Coach B had some comments about it, and so basically just the kind of main idea of what I was saying involving Kareem Hunt and the Bears is that look, if you're not gonna if you're not gonna if you're leaving the door open for Kareem Hunt, don't front. Just go get the guy. Like, don't why toy around with this, knowing that you're gonna take smoke from the media, you're gonna take smoke from women's groups, domestic violence groups, other feminist groups. Don't if you feel like it's too much, then just don't entertain it at all. But since you entertained it, just go get the cat
Yeah, just
and
sign
get
him.
him and get him now because look, it'll be close to and I know Coach B was like, yeah, it'll be the top story even over the championship games and all that stuff. And you might be right about that, Coach B, if it's just about the games, but within the next couple of weeks, when you got NFL honors and then the Super Bowl's coming up, I don't know if all that combined is going to be like too little for Kareem Hunt to be this big time story. And
Yeah.
even if it is, it's still the off season. The Bears just lost a playoff game 2 weeks ago. The off season's here. Get them in now. Implement whatever rehab, whatever programs you want to put in place for Kareem Hunt. Make sure that he's seeking the right path. If you got to because look, the NFL is going to punish him anyway. Once the season starts, he's going to serve 10 games, 12 games, whatever. And to me, it's got to be a minimum of 10 games. It can't be no less than that. They can't mess this up like they did Ray Rice.
Well, at this particular point, it's not up to nobody but the NFL. He's on the list.
Right, he's on the list.
Until Goodell says, yeah, you can go ahead and see, or they hand down whatever they're going to give and then put him back in ready to play. He's ready to play.
Right.
It really, the Bears can't do nothing. And that would be kind of like, I think what they're saying is like, they don't want to put that picture to Goodell. Like they're trying to keep that where it doesn't influence their character. So that's why coach automatically came out and said, hey, I know this kid. I was checking on him. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was doing. Sure. You know what I mean? So I think that's more of covering their basis than anything, because they got to think like, we definitely don't want the NFL putting a target on our back because they're trying to clean up their image and shit like that, because it gets dirty. You know how that goes, man.
But Coach B, the reporter asked, is there any interest? And they said we're leaving the door open. I'm paraphrasing. We're leaving the door open. The Bears left this open. Mm-hmm. They're allowing the conversation to continue. Just right. If you really want them, just go get them.
And you know what? I was thinking too. You're gonna get them at a discounted price if the penalty's coming. You know what I mean? Like the 10-year game suspension. You're gonna get a great player at a discount.
Well, forget the money part of this.
He's gonna play out his rookie contract.
Right. I'm just talking about being able to soften the blow, because the smoke is gonna come. They can't avoid that. But if you can minimize the smoke from the beginning of the offseason all through free agency, the draft, and then OTAs, and then training camp, I could guarantee you it'll be less of a distraction come training camp time. I can guarantee that he'll serve that suspension, and really, you're not going to see Kareem Hunt on the field until possibly mid-November, beginning of December.
Yep.
So you're talking from now 10 months where you're really not going to see Kareem Hunt if you sign him now.
Yeah, well, yes, you know what? You make a point, because then the Flames, the hype around the whole situation isn't going to last that long. I mean, that's literally like it's 11 months.
Right.
You're telling me people are going to be up in arms about it for 11 months straight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and think about this too. If nobody, I'm gonna disclude the Bears from now, but if nobody in general signs Kareem Hunt, then the more likely you start to get a sense that he may not play again, because let's remember, he's a running back. The life of a running back isn't that long in the NFL. He's 23 right now. So really, if he was a sign right now, you're basically going to lose him for about 75% of the 2019 season, which means you're going to get him for a full 16 games in 2020. He'll be 25 at that point, and at that point, that's when you start to kind of see the running back, kind of slip a little bit. He'll be at the peak of his prime, but he'll start to slide a little bit. So if nobody signs him this offseason, somebody might sign him the following offseason and then still have to serve that suspension. And then now you're talking about, okay, age 26, age 27.
He's not worth
it. At that point,
if your body's not getting beat up on, your life expectancy's going up. That's
look at Frank Gore, Reggie Bush.
That's the reason why Le'Veon Bell did what he did this year.
Well, hold on, right. Martin. Why are you shaking your head? Martin, why are you shaking your head? I'm curious.
Frank Gore's an alien. That dude played till he's 90.
Frank Gore.
Who's playing till they're 90?
Frank Gore.
Oh, Frank Gore. Yeah,
No,
he's
it's
a
funny.
he's a specimen.
He actually
He's
played
a
like
specimen.
in terms of running backs playing well this year. He actually played well. Like he had games where he was breaking tackles more than like Alvin Kamara and shit.
Yeah, well, no, how?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't paid attention. Didn't Frank and Marlon did Frank get hurt this season or what happened? Because him and Marlon.
Oh,
Mack,
Marlon Mack is the starter.
Oh no,
He took
no.
the job.
Frank Gore was behind Kenyon Drake for a while.
Oh wait, did he go to the Dolphins? Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah, no, he's on the Dolphins.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he lost the job.
yeah, he did.
Back.
Yeah, that's my bad.
He lost it like last year.
Fellas, I'm gonna have to
Exit
drop
stage
out of the show here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to exit here. My people's is here, and I got to get some stuff out their trunk. So,
Hey,
Right.
hey,
Man.
yeah. Hey, Coach B, appreciate you. Devin, appreciate you. I forgot your name, Martin. Patriot fan. Of the Cheatriots. I appreciate you as well, man. Make sure y'all go check out the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast. Live show tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. Make sure y'all check us out tomorrow, man. I appreciate everybody, man. Y'all
All right,
stay
peace,
safe
bro.
out there.
Peace.
yeah, take it easy, Trey. See you, buddy.
All right.
All right, Trey is out of the building. Wow. What was I gonna say? That was such a disrespectful outage right there, Martin. He said Cheatriots. I respect the Cheatriots. So you're saying that like it don't even bother you none, like the Patriots talk. Well, man, I mean that's just being a Patriots fan. If you're I feel like that's just being a Boston fan. People just roast because that city's like against the world sometimes. I feel like people hate them. Yeah, no, I definitely think that's the dynamic of like Boston teams is just like them. It's them against the world like all the time.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man. If you're not getting hated, then you're losing.
Yeah, exactly. Because no one cares. You're irrelevant. Now, so we didn't get to talk about it while Trey was here, but I wanted to bring up the Pro Bowl, and I just think the Pro Bowl is such a waste when it comes around. And this is the alternative, and I want to know what people think in the chat and you guys. The idea of having a game where instead of the Pro Bowl, have a game where the two worst teams play each other for the first overall pick. Like for the opportunity to have that one pick that is going to make your team and flip it and make it, it could be potentially make them like one of the best teams. I mean, you could do a Jamarcus Russell type deal, but make your team the best in the league. I'm curious. What do you think? Would that be better than the Pro Bowl? Or do you think the Pro Bowl is better than that?
It would probably bring on some excitement if you were like the number 2 team. It would be something that you would want to see. I don't think what would happen. I think they should just like add that because I think the Pro Bowl is one of those things that the players count on because it's a free vacation. They get to bring their family and they don't have to pay for nothing. So I think that me personally, I'll check it out, but I haven't watched a full one in years. It's just something to see. I like the format they're doing now, but you're not getting no competition. They might as well take the pads off and play flag.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what it feels like. I mean they pretty much should do that, honestly. What do you think, Martin?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea just to do that in general. Like
Just add something else.
Throw that in there the week after the week after the Super Bowl and throw that in there. I think that would gain a lot of that would be a smart thing to do for the league.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think about this then, Coach? Because you think it's a good idea just to add it in. Would you think it'd be something? Because like on the day of the Pro Bowl, right? They have like there's a lot of time, and they have that what is it like they have that new showdown thing now, where like they have the showdown where like the guys throw the footballs and all that, right? Yeah, that contest, which I think's cool. But like that's the day before, right, Martin? If I'm not mistaken, that's usually the day before the Pro Bowl.
It's part of the whole weekend.
So, wait, what?
Like on TV, if you like watching players in shorts, I guess it's
I just think it's interesting seeing like the players like have to practice the skills, like especially the quarterbacks throwing or whatever. I just think it's interesting. I didn't say, I mean, I think it's cool, but I'm not like actively watching it the whole time. I will say that
Apparently, some people like it because the numbers are there or wouldn't be on TV.
yeah, right. But this is what I was gonna say. What about the not the morning of, but like the game before the Pro Bowl is that game?
Good game.
Like double head the hypothetical game where the two worst teams play each other.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would be. I think like it'll take. They wouldn't do it because it would take off of the Pro Bowl game. I would think.
Yeah, Martin.
Because people would probably watch that. You know what I mean? You get footballed out because you look at the. Well, I don't know because then you got the Super Bowl. We're still in. They play the day before, right? Or is it
No, the Pro Bowl the Pro Bowl is played the week before, isn't it?
the week before, the weekend before?
Yeah, it's played the weekend before the Super Bowl. Like it'll be this coming week actually, won't it?
I think so. I think that. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, that might work. I don't know. I would think I would probably. You know what? I would probably wait until after. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't pair it with nothing. I would just let it have its own day.
Okay.
Because you think about it, the Super Bowl's over. All right, football's over. But if you're one of those two teams and you got a fan base, you're gonna get the numbers to watch that. You'll get the. Everybody's gonna watch it to see who gets the number
The
one
one pick, yeah, that'd make it interesting. And it would set the tone for the offseason. But Martin, go ahead. Tell me your take on the Pro Bowl. What do you think?
No, the Pro Bowl to me compares well with the preseason, like the extended amount of preseason games that we have. We have four. If you're part of the Hall of Fame game, we have 5 games. It just like the whole preseason. Yeah, you're developing your players and you're doing that, but it's not like something you're gonna watch. That's something you're gonna tune in for every time. But the Pro Bowl, I just think there's really no point in playing it. I mean, a lot of players just go out there and like just have fun. I get how that could be somewhat entertaining. You get to see, somebody make a nice grab or somebody make a nice throw, whatever. There has to be some sort of like rooting interest. There has to be some sort of like, I don't know. It's just not appealing to most fans that care about guys going out there and laying hits and competing. It just
Yeah, there's no stakes. I agree with.
I don't understand the concept of it.
I think, I don't think it really has anything to do. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think it might even be in the contract. Maybe they don't have the numbers. It might just be in the contract that they sign and say, hey, you gotta put this on. You want the Super Bowl on your station and you want to cover the NFL and you make that, you have to put this on no matter what the numbers are at this time. So I guess that's the promotional thing. But I think it's more or less of like a give back to the league and the families, because that's all it is. It's a vacate. They're down there for a week and you're able to bring your family and they pay for all of it and you get a check. So and you're meeting up with the guys, you know what I mean? I think if they would, this is what would make it interesting. If this would make it interesting, if they did like the week up to it, if they do a reality show on it, like they follow a couple of them, see how they interact with each other. Maybe because we think these guys hate each other. They hate each other on the field, but off the field, it's like, you know what I mean? It's they're actually like friends and stuff. They're cool with each other.
Yeah.
And we see all the bullshit that happens in between them when they're playing, and that's just competitiveness. But how do they interact in their real lives when they see each other?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
More of like a social networking
A social bowl.
thing more than a game. Like,
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Like your company saying, "Hey, we're having a picnic. Bring your family out." But theirs is on a millions of dollars scale.
Yeah.
We're going to Hawaii. You're getting a check, and we're paying for the whole week for you and your family.
Hey, you know what I was just thinking? It could be an appeal to those people who are fans of, not because you know how like we're fans of football. There are people that are fans of players, And it's for those people that like they're like, oh, I love Peyton Manning. I love Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning would like go to the Colts, and then he went to the Broncos, and there's those people that are just like, oh, I want to see Peyton Manning play, and their team he didn't make it, but they want to see him. I have friends that they like teams just because of one dude. So that one dude is literally worth more to them than their team, the team that they claim to like that one player. So I mean, maybe it's a benefit to them. I don't know.
It is what it is. Either way, I could deal with. If they got to do something for me to watch it, I think I just clicked through it. I think I only watched it last time because they changed the rules and they allow people to pick teams instead of just doing the AFC NFC. You grab some old players and let them talk shit and coach it. It's kind of, you get it. If you can get the right people doing it, talking to each other, having fun, you can watch a little bit of it. But I have no interest in it at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, well, Coach, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, let's check some trivia real quick.
Oh boy. Oh, Trey bailed. Trey left. Listen, Trey left not because the people were over, because he knew you were gonna ask him a question he couldn't answer.
Yeah, it might have been that because I went harder on him than I did you guys because you guys are a little younger. So I just kept it. Yeah, he's a All right, we'll start with you, Martin, first though. Can you hear me, Martin?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we'll start with you first. So this one's kind of, it's not that hard. It's pretty easy if you know. So when they drafted Tom Brady, okay, he had the choice to play football or baseball.
Oh, I know this.
You know it. So who instead of which team drafted him? Was it A? Okay, well you got right to it. There you go. He's on it. All right, Dev.
Oh boy, I'm sweating. Okay, all right.
It's kind of
And he's
not that hard.
And he's gonna be a catcher.
Yeah, he was gonna be.
He was gonna be a catcher for that team.
He was. I was thinking about. I wanted to change it to that and ask that question. Like, what position was it? But I was just like, let me see. Like, I didn't want to make it way too crazy hard. So, Dev, it's you. 2003, Marcus Allen was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Which other Raider was inducted into the Hall of Fame with him? Was it A. Art Shell, B. Ronnie Lott, C. Howie Long, or D. James Lofton?
This one's tough.
My gut, the deepest pit of my gut wants to say Ronnie Lott, so I'm gonna go with Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott?
And is it Howie Long?
No, it was James Lofton.
James Lofton. Oof.
James Lofton. He wasn't even in there for that long in the Raiders. For that long, he played most of his time with Buffalo.
Yeah, that's why it's such a tough. Because I barely even remember that name. Come to think of it. Yeah, but.
Have so many legends, man. It's crazy.
All right, we'll go back over to you, Martin. This is a pretty good one. But even if you're paying attention the last couple of days, you know the answer to this. Okay, Bill Belichick is 60-1 when he has this happen in a game. Is it A, the defense causes 2 turnovers and has 3 sacks? B, holds opposing team to under 70 yards rushing? C, when the team rushes for over 140 yards? Or D, has a running back rush for over 100 yards?
Oh, I think I know this one.
This was probably on a broadcast. Is it when team rushes less than 70? No, that's not it. That one's not correct.
Wait, was that one of the options?
Yeah, you hold the
okay.
They hold the opposing team to under 70 yards rushing.
It was the first one you said.
The defense causes 2 turnovers and records 3 sacks. Did you think you know, Dev?
I think I know. It is. Was it okay? It was which one was was it C that was the one that if they rush for 100 yards?
140 yards.
No, rushing. Then it's D. The guy rushes for 100 yards. There's. It's D. Ooh.
He has a 100-yard rusher. He's 60-1.
That's goofy because he answered I answered his trivia question for his team, and I didn't even know about the Hall of Fame.
You think you know? That's cool.
All right.
He 4 times.
It's in the broadcast, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go back to Dev. All right, so they're talking about Sean McVay being the youngest coach. He's the youngest coach ever hired, an NFL coach at 30 and 11 months. The Raiders have like 5 in the top. I want to say 12, but I don't know for sure. But they're up there. Who is the youngest coach that was ever hired by the Raiders?
Oh God.
Is it A, Al Davis? Is it B, Mike Shanahan? Is it C, John Gruden? Or D, John Madden?
I feel like why I should know this because Mike Shanahan sounds kind of right, but I'm gonna go with Johnny Gruden.
Johnny Gruden?
Yeah.
Nope. I would have guessed John Madden.
John Madden? John Madden, really?
Yeah, John Madden was 32 and 10 months.
Wow.
The second one would be I left him out because it was Lane Kiffin.
Oh, you left Lane Kiffin out.
And then the third one was actually Al Davis. Then John Gruden.
Danny Garcia came in and said, "Go Bears, go Bears, Danny." We had a lot of Bears fans pop in the live chat today.
I thought Jack Del Rio would have been one of those options, but
Jack Del Rio's old. He just looks young. It's that LA look. I was gonna say because John Madden just looked old to me. Like that, I was going completely off looks because I didn't know the ages, and I just felt like John Madden looks old. Like I don't know.
Oh yeah, the most footage they had on him was like in the later years when he won those championships.
Yeah, that's true.
he was really young, yeah.
All right, so one final for both of you guys. You guys know both your answers. Who played the most games in the NFL? Is it A, Bruce Matthews, B, Jerry Rice, C, Darryl Green, or D, Brett Favre?
My gut is Darryl Green.
You going with C, Darryl Green?
Yeah, that's my gut.
What do you got, Dev?
Hold on, what's the question again? I'm so
was
sorry.
Don't be Googling. Nah, he's trying to Google.
No, I had to adjust the volume. Someone in our chat said for some reason they couldn't hear you guys.
Google. That's why he don't want us on. He don't want to put him on the screen, Martin, because he's over there Googling everything.
I'm not Googling nothing. Just see, I had to up the volume because Josh said that you guys.
Okay,
what's
your answer? What's your answer?
Mine? I told you I don't hear the question.
Oh well, I didn't. Stop playing around and do what you're supposed to do.
I was managing the show. I'd up the volume for you guys so they could hear you.
All right, so who played the most games? Is it A, Bruce Matthews, B, Jerry Rice, C, Darryl Green, D, Brett Favre? Martin picked Darryl Green.
Bruce Matthews was an offensive tackle, right? And
I'm going to say Bruce Matthews.
Bruce Matthews?
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Jerry Rice played
old
three.
As shit when he retired. Yeah, he was old as shit.
Jerry Rice played 303. Brett Favre played 302. Bruce Matthews 296. Darryl Green 295.
So you'd think it'd be a kicker because
they're saying position players.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I was like, John.
Because they don't
1,000 games.
Yeah, they figure a kicker. You're not taking. It's nothing special.
Hey guys, Josh just said I was a cheater like the Patriots. He said I was a cheater.
Yeah. He probably was. I still think
tell him at least I'm a winner, asshole.
I'm over here typing up all this stuff up in here, like, oh, what's this? Oh, like looking up all the answers. Well, I only got one right, and it was for freaking Martin.
Huh?
I only got one of those questions right, and it was Martin's question.
Right. I mean, yes. I mean, they weren't that tough because there was some tough ones. I look at it like this: if young to old, you got that's one of those bridges. That's what we're doing here is bridging that gap. If you got that,
I was gonna kind of remember all that.
I was ready for you to ask me who's one Pro Bowler from the 1985 Patriots team.
Yeah, I wouldn't have went. That would have took a lot of thinking and a lot of time. I just go with the.
I would have gave you 3 of them.
Oh, 3? Yeah. Well, you never know. I was gonna see just something nothing heavy. But it just depends. More and more it goes, I'm gonna get harder and harder when I just grab someone that I think that would you'd have to think about real quick and then be able to answer real quick.
Are you gonna
Yes or
save the ones for Trey? So like whenever in the future we have him back on, you're gonna be like, "Oh Trey, I got you." Don't tell us what they are because he'll research them. That cheating son of a gun.
I wanted to hear him.
Yeah, I got some tough ones for him because
Trey can't hear it.
he's
Yeah.
he's a Ravens fan and I that's war on site. So I had some ones for him.
You can't give him the advantage, coach. He's Baltimore, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we ain't playing that vibe.
The yellow and black runs deep. All right, coach. Do you have anything else for us?
Nah, that's pretty much it. I'm up
Devin,
and out.
All right. Well then, guys, I want to thank you for everybody that tuned into our live stream tonight. This was our first live stream. We had a bunch of people on. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Let us know in the comments if you come back and watch this what you think of the whole Patriots and Kareem Hunt and the all the championship games that just took place this past Sunday. And yeah, always like the video, share it please if you would. We would much appreciate that. And of course, like I said, leave that comment. All right. Again, Martin, thanks for being on the show. Appreciate you. Much love, brother.
Man.
All right.
Yep.
Take care, you guys. See you.
All right, peace.
Later,